which is something that we are going to suffer with, particularly in the Pacific where China holds a lot of sway. These things are not going to go away. We're only starting to see them start now, and whoever holds the presidency next is going to have a hell of a time trying to fix these mistakes. And if it's Kamala Harris, I tell you what, I really feel for the security of the rest of the world, because it's not going to be pretty. But in your article, you point out, and you've just said that Biden hasn't really been fit for the presidency since 2021. Now, let's be honest, his presidency has been propped up largely by the media. There's a lot of talk in the UK, in the US and Australia about regulating social media regarding misinformation and disinformation. But where's the scrutiny on legacy media, on places like CNN, for facilitating an unfit US president and providing cover that hasn't only eaten away at America, but endangered the whole world?
Yes, I think Democratic commentators are ridiculous, and they sound ever more ridiculous. One of the things I find at the moment is this instant pivot to what a brilliant idea it is to elevate Kamala Harris to the top of the ticket. Only a few days ago, we were hearing that Joe Biden will stay because he's the only man that can beat Donald Trump, and he's such a great president, and he's so dynamic, and so on. Within a matter of moments, this became Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. It's so great that she's now in charge. The media, I think commentators talk too much about the media, particularly media commentators talk too much about the media, and I realise I'm doing that now. But I do think the Democratic media are extremely powerful in America. They are the dominant media, and they have behaved absurdly. They behaved absurdly towards Donald Trump, Russiagate, and so on. It was a huge embarrassment for the media. That was the number one story in America for about a year and a half, and it proved to be largely a complete load of nonsense. I don't think they are going to learn to sort of behave better, to cover the head better, because they are so set in their hatred of Trump and the hatred of the Trump movement. So I think we'll just go on having to listen to these channels pumping out this stuff. I think, though, as Donald Trump points out, they are failing. I think people have stopped listening, and I think that reflects itself in the polls.
Well, it's a good thing we've got to the Spectator and writers such as yourself to keep the public informed. I know our Australian readers love your articles, and they come up in our world section every day. Now, I'm going to make a prediction that we're going to actually miss Joe Biden. I mean, he might have been incomprehensible, but there's something about Kamala Harris that utterly grates the nerves. Her tone, her presentation, her idiotic speeches. And yet you have pointed out that the mega-rich Democrats on the West Coast are pouring money into her campaign. Now, keep in mind, Obama is still mulling around whether or not he's going to endorse her. No doubt that'll depend on the running mate. But Freddie, Trump has been pretty critical of Kamala. Do you think they're worried about her running against him, or does it not really matter who runs against Trump at this point?
I think it's not the ideal scenario for Republicans. I saw a campaign pollster memo yesterday that suggested they are a bit concerned about the Kamala honeymoon. We are going to see a spike in the polls. There's just so many people that don't want Donald Trump to be president, and they're very excited about Kamala Harris. I like your idea of missing Joe Biden. It's counterintuitive. But I think that, certainly Biden's foibles, he was arrogant, he was thin-skinned, but largely the reason why he was failing so badly on the world stage was because of his old age, which you can't really blame him for. Everybody's going to get old, everybody's going to go into decline. Kamala Harris is not in decline, she's just always been awful. So I think that is the contrast, and that's why I think we may, she could win this election. I don't think that is beyond the realms of possibility. The percentage, someone else said this to me the other day, and I think it's about right, at about 55% for Trump at the moment, 45% for Kamala Harris. So that's a significant chance that she wins this election. How Americans will feel about her in a year's time, if she is elected, is another matter altogether. She is irritating, to put it mildly. She blames all people who criticize her. She calls them sexist or misogynist. I don't think that's true. Women find her irritating. I think minorities find her irritating. It's not just the cackle. It's the appalling sort of HR lady voice that she uses, which really resonates badly with a lot of people who've had to work in an office. she is obnoxious. She's very obnoxious. And it's extraordinary that she's got to where she is in American politics today. I would say, everybody thinking, this is just a freak that she got there. She has operated very well behind the scenes. You can see that over the weekend. As Biden was considering this momentous decision, Doug Emhoff and Kamala Harris, Doug Emhoff, her husband, were busy manning the phones, rustling up Democratic mega donors who then promptly poured hundreds of millions of dollars, or over $100 million, to her campaign. She's pretty good at working the Democratic machine, and that's a skill. And the Democratic machine itself is very powerful. That's why she has a chance of winning the presidency. It won't be a popularity contest. It'll be an unbacked popularity contest, and she might just scrape through.